So, looking at our roster here, with so many DPS to choose from, who is the easiest to start with? Genuinely, which character has the great potential to decimate your enemies and carry your team to victory? The name's Frost, and I'm here to talk about the character I feel is the best DPS to start with, as well as what makes an awesome Infernus main. So if you've never played Infernus, this is basically what he's like. Now, I'll tell you right here, right now, Infernus here is all about that DOT, and what DOT stands for is damage over time. Basically, you light them on fire, and you let the fire do the rest. Easy! And I must say preemptively that while yes, he can be annoying to fight against, honestly, he is not that strong of a character. But his ability to scale into the late game and his simple gameplay loop cannot be ignored for how effective it is. Genuinely, even if you're not carrying, you will always be effective to some degree. Now, starting off with the basics, his primary fire is called Incendiary Remarks, which is a cool name, but the idea of it is so much cooler. His gun is his hand. He just and like lights people on fire. It's so cool. It's incredibly creative, and also it is an automatic weapon, so you just hold left click and like an SMG, it just automatically fires and shoots the enemy. Well, it doesn't aim for you, it just, fires rapidly. Moving on to his first ability, it is called Napalm, and all it is when you press it, you splash out some oil in front of you. That does a little bit of damage, it does a little bit of slow, and it makes the enemy take even a little bit of more damage. His second ability is called Flame Dash, and all it is, which is pretty self-explanatory, when you press it, you dash. Dash in a direction, and in your wake, you leave a trail of fire that does damage to enemies who step onto it, which is very nice. Basically, it's a very nice movement tool that helps you run away, deal damage, sometimes both, and I will let you know right now, you cannot jump, and if you try to jump, you will end the ability early, so don't do that. His third ability is called Afterburn, which this is that DOT I was talking about. It's a passive ability, which means that you don't have to do anything to activate it. Basically, you shoot the enemy enough, and then after enough bullets, they will eventually be lit on fire and take damage over time, which is very nice because you don't have to do anything to activate it, it kind of just does. Lastly, his fourth ability, his ultimate, is called Concussive Combustion, and what it is, you basically turn into a human bomb. You press that 4 key, and then after a few seconds, you explode in a medium-sized radius around you, doing some damage and stunning enemies if they're in that radius. I will say this is probably his hardest ability to use, only because you do have to get that timing down of being next to the enemy when it does explode, because if not, then they can kind of just jump away, or you can miss that timing and you could just miss the explosion entirely. Now, very clearly looking at his moveset, this character is just purely a DPS, which is the reason I chose him, not only because his abilities are very simple to grasp, but his gameplay loop is even simpler, which makes it a lot easier to get into him. In fact, I would say that the greatest difficulty I had in learning him was just the fact that he plays a lot different than other DPS characters that I have personally played and am used to. And what I mean by that is, see, Infernus is a hyper carry, and what that basically means is that you are not effective until the very late game. If you try to fight anytime before that, you're basically dead in the water. So what do you do as a hyper carry? Well, you basically F off for the first 15 to 25, maybe even 30 minutes of the game. You're just grinding until you get strong enough where you're 10k souls above everyone else, and then that's when you're super effective. So with that in mind, how are we playing him? Well, first off, I must say that prioritizing your DOT is a must. You are mainly a spirit character, so anything that increases your spirit damage and your duration is very important. Greens and oranges are also really good. I would mainly just grab some spirit lifesteal, and then for the oranges, just anything that increases your mag size and your fire rate would be very good for you, because it just allows you to land that afterburn a lot more. Your laning phase plan is pretty simple. All you're doing here is trying to land your afterburn. It is such an annoying ability to go against, and that makes it so useful for you, but do not get overconfident. As I have said, your ability to kill is so poor that it's basically non-existent. Mainly, you should be using your flame dash to kill the enemy minions, zone out the enemy, or just to run away when you are low. And you should always use your napalm with the intention of lighting the enemy on fire. Don't use it as a poke tool. The reason being is that it doesn't do enough spirit damage alone to be poking anyone, and using it in conjunction with your afterburn, it allows you to light these enemies on fire a lot easier. Once again, do not plan on getting a lot of kills early, and mostly try to link up with your lane mate to secure these kills. The reason I am emphasizing how weak you are is because I need to get it through your skull that you are not doing that much damage early on. As I mentioned, you are wholly reliant on your DOT, so until you have items that help you increase the effectiveness of your DOT, you are not going to be doing that much damage. After your laning phase, we go into your mid-game phase plan. And personally, there's only 3 things I would be doing here. 1. Anytime an enemy minion wave is coming down, clear that thing. 2. Any camps that show up, you destroy them. And 3, in between the first 2, clear out any boxes and those little golden Buddha statues you find for those extra souls and mini buffs. Once again, personally in your mid game, I would stray away from picking fights or even going into any 1v1s, only because you are not at that hyper carry level yet. Although I would not say stray away from all fights, because if you do see a fight going down, you can still be very effective because by this point you will have your ultimate, and that is very effective for stunning and doing a lot of damage to groups of enemies. So that can definitely help your team win a fight in the mid game. I just personally wouldn't make it your priority. Now we're here at the end game when everyone is fighting in a big old group, and by this point you should be around 7k plus souls on everyone. Now usually your combo when going into a fight is be activating your ult, then flame dashing into them, throwing your napalm on the enemies in front of you, and then when you explode, hold your left mouse click on one unfortunate soul until he eventually burns and shrivels up and dies. Well, that's it. By that point, either you will have done so much bullet damage that they will die, or even if they get away somehow, your DOT will most definitely end them. But also please understand that your ultimate isn't the ender of a fight. Your ultimate is what stuns and knocks people down, and it allows you to light them on fire a lot easier so that you can secure that afterburn and have that damage over time finish them off. That is going to be your most consistent form of getting kills as Infernus. Okay, so really the things I would look out for are just characters who can tank your DOT or characters who will burn you down faster than you can even light them on fire. So really that just means characters like Abrams, Victor, Calico, and Billy. Now, the items I would watch out for because you are so squishy are things that would slow you down, because if you can't get away with your flame dash, you are dead, so like slowing hex, and anything that can help the enemy team deal with your DOT. So like Dispel Magic or Victor's Cleanse, or even just like any general spirit resist, I would be wary of because that would make them survive against you a lot longer. Really, the main takeaways from this are don't be fighting early mid games and just grind as much as you can in that time. Once you do have that lead in the late game, you will just be mowing people down and doing so much damage with your DOT, it's not even funny. If you focus and prioritize that, I promise, even if you aren't a carrying DPS, you are still so effective on the battlefield that you will be an awesome Infernus main. Hey, just want to say thank you very much for watching. I hope this was pretty entertaining for you. I have 3 other videos available right now, one on Paige, one on Abrams, and one on my thoughts of when Apollo, Celeste, and those other characters got dropped. So check those out. If you're still sticking around, you should definitely subscribe. Like this video and leave a comment on your thoughts. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. Let me know. Also, I'm still learning other characters on Twitch, and I'm live 3 days a week. Okay, that's all. Thanks again, and if this is the last time you see from me, I hope you have a great life.